For my book review, I read Teach Like a Pirate by Dave Burgess. This whole book revolves around one secret, as written here on this board, the number one top secret way to make you a better lover. This secret is expounded on through characteristics and fundamentals of teaching, as well as hooks, metaphor, to help you be a better teacher within the classroom.
Now, I know you're wondering, what in the world does being a better lover have to do with being a better teacher, or a pirate for that matter? And the answer is a lot. The author, Dave Burgess, a high school teacher from San Diego, uses this exact sign to drive his point home when he goes to conferences and workshops. It's attention grabbing. It's different. It makes you curious to know what the heck this workshop is going to be about, and that's exactly the point. Teach Like a Pirate will lead you to become a more compassionate, creative teacher and will help you find more fulfillment in it. As Mr. Burgess says in the introduction, pirates are daring, adventurous, and willing to set forth into uncharted territories with no guarantee of success. And that is exactly what we need to be as teachers. The point of the book, at its very simplest, is to make you more creative and more passionate as a teacher, to give you more enthusiasm, and to engage your students during every lesson. It starts off with the fundamentals of improving and then talks about his evidence of importance on the first 3 days of school. He says he thinks the most important day of the entire year is the third day of school, and then explains why. In the third section of the book, it focuses on subjects for improvement within lesson plans, all of which have creative pirate metaphor names such as passion, report, immersion, and hooks. One important thing to consider about Teach Like a Pirate is that it is speaking to readers who are already in the classroom, have years of teaching under their belts, and need some help finding their mojo again. It doesn't cover the fundamentals of teaching that will make you a better teacher, but is more focused on the refining process within the classroom. That being said, it can still give you great ideas if you're just starting out. If you are still struggling to find an image of what you want your teaching style to look like, then look no further. This book is inspiring, and it tells you exactly how to be inspiring too. One of the best strengths of this book is that it has over 50 questions, specific questions that can help jumpstart your lessons. These questions are organized by theme, such as music, art, space, etc. They are questions that anyone of any discipline can work with, and they are questions used to generate more creative questions. Though the author spends a chapter building on the idea that anyone can be creative, if you do not finish the book thinking that you could be the next Dave Burgess, then the book falls short. It has a focus on presentation that some teachers may feel like they do not have the skill for, which might alienate them from a lot more of the important advice within the book. The book does not expound on a new idea as much as it helps creativity develop. There is no essential theory that Burgess expounds upon throughout the book. His main theory is that you have to be enthusiastic, you have to be passionate to help your students really learn. The entire book is not groundbreaking in this respect, but rather a treasure map of how Mr. Burgess has been able to do this in his own classroom and how to follow his example. One of the ways that he does this is similar to the principle of differentiation, of not only being creative yourself, but how to use the varying creativity skills within the classroom. He also emphasizes that maintaining your broader educational goals for your students is important as you're trying to be more enthusiastic. That enthusiasm can help you obtain these, such as who are the type of people that we want your students to be, and that is important for your lessons and the way that you teach them to reflect this in your enthusiasm for your learning. No matter your discipline, you can use the questions in this book to help you. One of the examples that caught my attention was the idea of a blank slate classroom. of putting up dark sheets of plastic that cover up every inch of the walls and the windows too. This particular technique creates a new environment for students. It gathers their attention when they walk into the classroom and makes that lesson more memorable. This can be used to teach a new formula, to talk about outer space and science, and any other different discipline as well. Mr. Burgess, a history teacher, uses this particular technique for teaching about the space race. He projects images of stars up onto the ceiling. He manipulates the lights to the way that he wants them, almost as if you were outside looking up at the stars. He builds the anticipation and then has the students reflect upon the influence of the space race on their lives, and ultimately creates it to be a very powerful lesson, and one that the change of scenery makes very memorable.
One of the sections of Dave's hook, get it, pirate analogy, is how to use an outdoor space to better enhance your classroom. He has some very specific questions, such as, is there a way that I could take this outside? Or how can I change the space within my classroom to be able to better enhance learning? One of his specific examples about this is with the Trail of Tears and President Jackson for an American history classroom. He says, what better place to teach a life-changing lesson about the Trail of Tears than on a trail? For example, this one.
Mr. Burgess is a social studies teacher. All of the examples within his book come from how he applies the principles to his history department. One of the ways that you can do this is to have your students make little boats and sail them down a river or a small stream if you have access to it. If you do not, you can try to innovate one yourself. You can have them assign their boats to a country. Based upon who wins your boat races, have the students hypothesize how the world would be different if the winning country had been the first to find the Americas.
I would recommend Teach Like a Pirate by Dave Burgess to any teaching student or to any teacher. It has great ideas and specific questions to elevate any lesson. It could be applied in a math classroom, a science classroom, or a geography one. It proves that if you have the right mindset, you can turn any lesson into an adventure.